Fortunately for him, he was suddenly interrupted by someone.
"Lady Mariam,"
came the call, in a harsh tone that clearly indicated it was not going to be friendly. Lady Mariam and Roble stopped, turned, and looked. It had come from one of two men standing next to a workshop where two women were sifting grain using a giant sieve.
"You know them?"
Roble asked Lady Mariam. "No," Lady Mariam responded, as the men began walking towards them. "But I have no doubt who they are." Roble looked at the men and paid particular attention to the saber and dagger dangling from the waist of each of them. One of the men was significantly taller than the other. They were not approaching Lady Mariam for a pleasant chat, that was for sure. Roble immediately stepped up to place himself between Lady Mariam and the approaching goons. "Please, my lady," Roble whispered. "Let me handle this." Lady Mariam said nothing. She looked up at Roble's eyes as he spoke and stepped even closer to him, feeling so safe and secure with him that she had to fight the urge to throw her arms around him and press her body against his. The men stopped within feet of Roble, surprised at the daring of the monk to stand in their way.
"Okay, monk,"
the taller goon said, tapping his forehead in disbelief.
"My name is Jesus, and my mother always took me to church as a boy, so I may hesitate staining my sword with the blood of a monk on a Sabbath day. But my friend here, Gide, is as pure a heathen as they come. He does not give a rat's behind about you or any of those grown men in church dresses. So do us a favor and get lost."
Roble did not budge. He simply stared at the goons and said nothing, standing with his arms held together, with interlocking fingers below his torso, and his feet slightly spread apart. It was a calm, blank stare.
"Did you hear what I just said, monk?"
Jesus continued to threaten. Roble continued to stare. Lady Mariam stood in silence. She was not afraid, not with Roble standing there. A poet on a corner, dazzling his audiences with his poetry, as well as traders, shoppers, and passers-by in the street, soon took notice of the brewing tension and began to quickly disperse, lest they become the victims of the goons as well. They hid behind their shopping stalls and ran into nearby buildings, from where they could still witness the unfolding situation, without getting caught up in it. Then there was a swoosh sound. It was from Gide, partially pulling out his sword from its sheath, a gesture meant to frighten Roble. Roble did not budge, but Lady Mariam grew concerned. She wrapped her hands around his right arm and inched much closer to him. "Roble, please," she begged him in a soft, frightened voice. "Let the men say what they have to say and leave, please." Roble said nothing. His gaze remained focused on the goons.
"You best listen to the lady, monk," Jesus snarled. "She's got some sense in her."
Roble then turned his head towards Lady Mariam. "My lady," he said calmly, pointing to a building, "please go to that shop. I will handle these men. I promise you. Please."
"Are you serious?"
Jesus barked, stunned by the monk's audacity. "My lady," Roble insisted calmly. "Now, please."
"Okay,"
Jesus chuckled in disbelief,
then said to Lady Mariam, "We will deal with you in a moment. Do as the monk says. I am now very curious to know just how he plans to handle us."
The goons parted to let Lady Mariam through. Then they stepped closer to Roble. Surprised and puzzled, Lady Mariam reluctantly walked to the building. Its occupants, many of whom had just been on the street moments before, eagerly opened the door and let her in, whereupon she immediately joined them by the window, from where they could see but not hear the unfolding drama between Roble and the goons.
"Well, monk,"
Jesus teased, placing a hand on his sword so that Roble could clearly see it.
"just how do you intend to handle us?"